So I recently went to Hiroshima to check out its newly remodeled Pokemon Center. I went with fellow PokeTuber Pokemon LID Adventures, or as I like to call him, Mike. And during that short time that we spent together, I realized I have a rival. In my adventures, I have a Brock, Misty, Pikachu, and now it looks like I have myself a rival. Is Mike my Gary, or is he more like my Richie? Or Trip? Well, there's only one way to find out. Mike and I are going to take a trip together and do what we do best. Look at some manholes. It is 4:30 in the morning. Let's go. I'm 31. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life?
So I picked up Mike in Fukuoka City, and our adventure began. We were going to be driving from Fukuoka to Ehime in Shikoku, a 6-hour drive, which is pretty easy in comparison to other recent trips I've done. We only had 2 manholes to get to before sunset, so if we got to Ehime around noon, there'd be no issues. Ehime, looks like Pikachu making some takoyaki over here. That's, you know what? I'm pretty into like fat Pikachu, but I think this guy's actually kind of really adorable. All right, I need your opinion.
Yes.
What's best Pikachu? Historically, what's your favorite Pikachu?
Historically?
Yeah, like for an example, I'm 100% all in fat Pikachu. OG Pikachu.
Yes,
yeah.
I 100% agree. I don't like the one that lost a little bit of weight along the way.
Yeah.
It's gotta be the fat one for sure.
How dare he take my answer? Get your own answer, Michael. After hours of driving and an astounding amount of piss breaks, we finally made it to Ehime's biggest city, Matsuyama.
Look at him go. He's so professional. So good at this. I look like I'm filming an all-star. He's so good at this. He's so good.
When we started to film, it immediately dawned on me how damn good Mike was. I consider myself an amateur when it comes to the vlogging aspect of my vlogs, but he was able to pull out his camera and just start talking. I was in awe. It made me envious. It pissed me off. I don't want to change my style or the vibe of my videos, and I think that stubbornness is gonna keep my channel growth to a crawl. But I want to do things to improve the overall quality of my videos, like get a new microphone and eventually get a stabilizer for my camera. I don't have the budget to do all of that immediately, but I do have the budget to get over my fears of vlogging and try to improve. I pretended to go to the bathroom so I could take a breath and get over nerves, and when I came out, I had already lost Mike. The bathroom and I lost Mike. Oh, he's right there. This is very fast. The first manhole was in a Shotengai, which is a first for my channel. You'll be able to find Shotengai all around Japan. They feature pretty much any kind of store from cat cafes to McDonald's, but I usually associate them with bars and karaoke. Mike mentioned there were a few manholes located in other Shotengai, and I'll just have to take his word for it. People are just walking all over it. There we go. So, as for the Pokemon featured on this manhole, Tsarina and Bounsweet, I'm finding it difficult to come up with an easy to connect reason. Ehime is famous for its Mikan. If you say oranges, they'll get angry. But we all know what we're looking at here. When I looked up mangosteens and Ehime, I found nothing. But these are known as the fruit Pokemon, and Ehime has plenty of fruit. I've known people who have driven hours to Ehime just to partake in its famous nectar. We all know the feeling. Am I right, guys? I should call her. Other than the Pokemon, we got a few more things we can look at. This stone road is probably based on the stone road right next to the manhole. It's the path that Ehime's trams ride along. That's right, Ehime is another city with trams, and it gets me all excited. What I like specifically about Ehime is there's an old looking tram that runs through the city. This time I didn't get to see it, but Mike did, and as it turns out, he's a train boy. He's a real train boy. You friggin' dork. I did see it referenced on the ground nearby the manhole though. I thought the tram on the manhole was in reference to this old-timey one, but this looks too modern. Instead, it's probably just an off-color of the orange trams that run through the city. There were also some pretty lamps, which I noted, but immediately forgot about. So I'm walking back to my car real quick because I forgot Whooper. So let's address the giant red elephant in the room. I have a blemish on my neck the size of a quarter, and I think I got this because I was stressed out about potentially having a blemish on my neck the size of a quarter. In the excitement of everything that's been going on, I just forgot to get Whooper. When I do these videos, usually I can point out 2 things about the area that I'm going to that I can't really do this time. Usually I can point out a specialty food, and when I think of Ehime, I don't think of specialty foods. There are other things that come into mind when I hear the word Ehime, and food, unfortunately, is not one of them. That's not going to stop me from looking, but it is something that I am currently kind of dealing with. Fanny pack. Another thing that often I talk about in these videos is how the place I'm in relates to Pokemon. As far as I know, unless we're talking side games, which I haven't really looked it up just yet, but as far as I know, Ehime has no Pokemon counterpart, so I can't take the time to sit down in this video and talk to you about the things I'm seeing in Ehime that remind me of the video games. I can't do that. Ehime does have a relationship to Spirited Away, which I can talk about for a little bit, but that is not really the goal of my channel. That's not really the goal of what I'm doing. To kind of make up for this, watch till the end of the video. I have something I want to talk about, something that I want to show you that is sort of related to Ehime, but not necessarily related to this particular journey. So yeah, keep an eye out for the end. For now, I'm gonna get back to Mike. I'm gonna take a picture with Whooper. We're gonna mess around a little bit. Maybe I can charge my phone. And yeah, 1 manhole down, 1 more to go. With only 1 manhole left to get and plenty of daylight, we decided to go to Matsuyama Castle. I've been there before, but I wanted to experience it again and get some footage. However, it wouldn't be a FreeXax video if we didn't get a little lost first. Ooh, look at that. A pond. So far, we haven't really been successful with finding the castle. Ah, no! I wanted to see if the castle was up there, but we're not allowed in.
It says no black individuals can go.
Oh, I'm fine then. Yeah. We just decided to drive closer to the castle, and since this is a legit castle, it was up on a massive hill. We had the option to go up individually on little swings, or we could take a cable car. I opted for the cable car because it feels safer. I'm not afraid of heights, I'm afraid of falling. And wild animals. Even with the assistance of the cable car, it was still another 10-minute hike to the castle. This place is massive. Look, dude. Now we can have fun and learn.
Oh, yay! What I know about castles, and I know a lot, is ice cream is produced from all these castles.
Really?
You have to get ice cream, obviously.
They come straight from the king's teats. This is a real castle. I've given flack to Saga's castle before in another video, and I think Matsuyama's castle is why. This is one of my favorite castles in Japan, probably in my top 2. The only thing that keeps me from rating it at number 1 is its lack of accessibility to large human beings, which, that's me. I am large human being. But almost everything about this castle is amazing. It's literally what I imagine when I think of Japanese castles. So it's time for a quick history lesson with FreeXax. Matsuyama Castle was originally conceived as a stronghold for warlords in 1601, but by the time the construction had finished, Japan was in a time of peace. Also, before it could be completed, the original daimyo of the castle was transferred somewhere else. Another person stepped in to take over construction of the castle, but he died with no heirs, so it had a rough start in terms of ownership. The tenshu, or basically the main part of the castle, was built to be 5 stories high. Then it was reconstructed to only be 3 stories high in 1642. And then, say it with me, there was a fire caused by lightning in 1784. Because of construction starting and then stopping, it took them roughly 70 years, but they finished rebuilding the tenshu in 1854. And that's it. That's the one still standing to this very day. It's considered to be one of the 12 Japanese castles to still have its original tenshu. The castle has gone from being a government building to abandoned to public park. You know, the usual stuff that happens with Japanese castles. Even though the castle is physically hard to navigate for a large human being, it's still a sight to behold. Out of the castles I've been to, it's the one I recommend coming to the most. Our adventure at the castle had actually eaten up a lot of our time, and the pressure to find the next manhole before nighttime was beginning to loom. However, that pressure wasn't going to stop us from eating some special Ehime ice cream. I mentioned that Ehime's Mikons are famous, and I wanted to try them in some kind of creative way. I think this was pretty on brand.
Orange. Yeah, so it's orange specialty ice cream. Oh, it's so sour.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that. My goodness. It's like lemon.
What, Michael? Can't handle a little bit of ice cream? So this part was sour, yeah?
All of it.
All of it's sour. It's like jelly. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this was super sour, and I was 100% putting up a front.
Ooh. This is weird. This is good.
Right? Yeah.
On the way down, we decided to go with the individual swings, and I hated it.
I'm gonna die. Why is it rocking?
Once again, not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of flailing helplessly in the air. And commitment to any healthy relationship. And the worst part about this was, Mike was having the time of his life.
Fucking enjoying himself. What an asshole. Don't look down, donkey. Shrek, I'm looking down. Please don't mess this up. Please don't mess this up somehow. It's fine. Alright, here we go. I'm safe. If humans were meant to be in the air, we'd have wings.
Our next manhole was about a 20-minute drive away, but something the GPS didn't take into account is that we would have to do another hike. So we found what seemed to be some convenient parking, and what was set to be a 20-minute drive turned into a 15-minute drive and 20 minutes of hiking. I don't mind hiking. In fact, I find myself doing it more often than not. I just don't like surprise hiking. I guess I have to get used to it if I'm going to keep doing these travel vlogs. I will say this place is gorgeous. It felt like a sanctuary of flowers, even if...
And now there's a bunch of roses here. It's beautiful, but dying.
Yeah. Yeah. Something I don't make too well known about myself is that I love flowers. My wrestling gear always features a sunflower, and I enjoy studying flower language. So when I'm in a beautiful place like this, it tickles certain areas of my brain. Mike and I came to the perfect location for a date. It'd be a pretty good place to kiss a bro, in all honesty. But were Mike and I bros or rivals? Yeah, I should probably lay off the cheeseburgers. Mike had hinted to me that we were going somewhere different from the usual spots in Japan, and when I got a glimpse of where we were going, I got pretty excited. This is Freiburg Castle, which is named that way because of Matsuyama's sister city, Freiburg. I don't speak German, so if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, who cares? Win a war and then complain, Germany. The castle doesn't really serve a great purpose besides commemorating the 100th anniversary of Matsuyama's city government, and to give Matsuyama General Park a unique feel. And right next to the castle was our manhole.
Here we go. Escavalier, Surfetched. For the longest time, Surfetched was my background on my phone. Big fan of Surfetched. Looks like we might have some of the same flowers we've had before. You've seen these on something else I don't remember off the top of my head.
This manhole featured Surfetched and Escavalier, and I think the connection to the medieval castle is pretty obvious. I did some extra research to see if jousting was popular in Germany, and from the looks of it, a lot of modern jousting festivals and such are held there. That's not to say that they don't occur in other places as well. I think whoever plans the manholes chose two medieval looking Pokemon and slapped them on there. As for the camellias, that was an easy connection, seeing as we walked through Camellia Land. This manhole didn't require a whole lot of research or thought, but I did learn about the history of jousting in the process.
I just want to touch it. Does it feel like real rock? Yep, real rock, confirmed.
I think it was during this time I realized, Mike isn't my rival. I mean, we can't be rivals. If we're rivals, then I am absolutely losing. I'd be the Hop to his Cynthia. No, Mike is my buddy doing his own adventure. He's like my Todd. He makes an appearance in a few episodes with his camera before disappearing to be a main character in his own thing.
Mike has some Pokemon Go related stuff to do, and while he does that, I am going to lay down on one of these benches and relax, because I've been basically up and moving since 4:30 in the morning. So, yeah, I'm gonna relax, and then we're gonna go to Shikoku's one and only, if I'm correct, Pokémon Store.
And this is why I originally wanted to do this trip. Ehime has a Pokémon Store, which is basically the redheaded step-cousin of the usual Pokémon centers. I've accidentally been to more Pokémon stores than centers, and for the longest time, I didn't know the difference. My order of visiting them are the Hakata Pokemon Center, the Pokemon Store in Chiba, the now closed Pokemon Store in Owita, and it wasn't until I went to Hiroshima's Pokemon Center and met the red-ish Gyarados that I realized the difference. I also realized something about Hakata's Pokemon Center that I'll talk about in an upcoming video. But let's talk about the Pokemon Store and see if it was worth all the hassle. I think you can't blame me for not knowing the differences between centers and stores, because the stores carry pretty much everything the centers do. Same plushies, same figurines, but less stock. Some stores even have their own exclusive items, so it's not like they don't get their own special treatment. At the time of coming here, they didn't have anything exclusive, but I 100% would have bought it. Something special about the stores is that they might not get as much foot traffic, so it's easier to get in and get out. Because of this, I was also able to find some items that are usually sold out at other stores. Now, what makes a Pokemon store not a Pokemon Center? Maybe 3 things. Number 1, size. Size doesn't matter, we can all agree. In fact, I sometimes prefer if it's a bit compact. Sometimes small is okay, so I refuse to shame the size of Pokemon stores. Number 2, statues. There are statues at a few of the stores, but none of them are giant, and most of them are special Pikachu. Ehime's store didn't have a statue, but it did have quite a few Pikachu-themed decorations. It was all kind of neon, and I liked it. In particular, the neon-looking sign of Pikachu on the outside wall was impressive. There were also neon designs above some of the shelf space, mostly Pikachu-themed. I may not like Pikachu being forefront when it comes to merchandise, but I'm cool with this. If the general theme of Pokemon stores is Pikachu, I can't complain. And number 3, location. They gotta be somewhere real special. Hiroshima, special. Hakata, special. Osaka, special. Tokyo, special. Sapporo, special. Ehime, special. But not too special. At this store, I was able to find a Totodile plush I've been looking for. I'll be buying the other 2 Johto starters in other videos because I'm on a hardcore Johto kick right now. I also wanted to keep it simple because this was filmed in conjunction with the Hiroshima visit, and I went a little bit overboard there. So I bought a Babanuki deck, or Old Maid. I figured it'd be a good game to play with my friends when we drink. Or I guess with my students. When we drink. And the last thing I got was 5 packs of Terrasto Festival. I haven't been able to find these at any other center recently, except for special occasions, so this was great, but I pulled nothing good except for a Croconaut and Feraligatr to go with my new Totodile. I should probably stop buying cards. I won't, but I should. I think this Pokemon store is solid, but it's not necessarily worth going out of the way for. If you happen to come to Ehime for all of its other sightseeing attractions, then it couldn't hurt to drop by the store as well. Mike and I drove back into the city near the first manhole, and we arrived at our hotel. It was a nice place, and one of the first traditional Japanese hotels, or ryokan, I've stayed at. I usually end up staying at westernized hotels, so this was a nice change of pace. We even had our own futons, which I haven't slept in years. Our day of adventuring was coming to a close, and it was time to eat, take a bath, and sleep. And 2 of those things could legally be done in public. We went to an area called Dogo and found the one open restaurant. We ordered our food and... Okay, look. Mike decided to not change into a traditional yukata, and I did. Unfortunately, it was too small for me, and I was nervous about my Pokemon store-sized junk popping out. From looking at the menu, it seemed like everything was an Ehime specialty. But at the same time, it didn't look like anything necessarily stood out. Mike ordered sashimi while I got tempura and a Dogo-only beer. After some of Enoshima's beer, I was a little bit nervous about trying another touristy brew. But this was real solid. And even though the tempura didn't necessarily come off as unique, it was still great. Tempura is always a top-tier Japanese food. It's always lightly fried meats and vegetables, so it feels like you're eating healthy. It's good to feel that way, even if it's not true. After our very late dinner, it was time for a bath.
What are you thinking? Are you gonna hop in?
How much does it cost to go in?
Actually, I don't know.
700.
Oh, you have pretty good eyes. Oh, I guess you wear glasses. That makes sense. Hey, look. Are these the lanterns from the manhole?
Maybe.
It could be.
Mike decided to not get in the bath with me, so I'm sad to report that I did not see his wiener. We split up and I went to Dogo Onsen alone. Dogo Onsen is the main attraction in Ehime and arguably the most famous hot spring in Japan. While I don't necessarily see the resemblance, it's supposedly the inspiration for the bathhouse in Spirited Away. For the longest time, that was my favorite movie, so this is a sacred place to me. Because it was nearing closing time, I could only take a bath. Usually they offer a bath and an area to relax in and eat traditional Japanese snacks and drink tea. Of course, I couldn't film inside of the bath, but it does look amazing. All of the provided shampoo and body wash smelled like oranges. However, do not be fooled, they do not taste like oranges. But come to think of it, it did taste like the ice cream. I finished up in the bath, bought a small towel, and I like to drink after I've dipped into an onsen. Usually, you could buy beers from the onsen vending machines. Not here though, and that was infuriating. Instead, I found a nearby convenience store where I could enjoy a beer. And well, that was the end of my journey in Ehime. I was extremely nervous to do this trip with Mike. Not just because I could sometimes be unhinged and Mike seems like a regular dude. I didn't want to make him uncomfortable, but I also didn't want to hold back. I've done many collabs with people before with varying results. I've made videos with people and never talked to them again, and I've made videos with people and they become my best friends. I'm sure Mike and I will collab again in the future, and I'm grateful I could learn so much from him. For now, I wish Mike the best on his Pokemon journey. Hopefully, our paths will cross again. So I alluded to this a little bit, and as my thank you for getting this far, I'll reveal a little project I was working on 5 years ago. Do any of you guys remember how obsessed people, especially Poketubers, were with making their own regions? Well, I had an idea to do this as well and make a series of create your own adventure YouTube videos. I wanted it to be my comeback project. It was just gonna cost me hundreds of dollars, and I didn't have hundreds of dollars. I still don't, but I did get a few Pokemon and characters commissioned at the time. Well, the basis for the region was going to be Shikoku, the island with Ehime, and parts of Chugoku, where Hiroshima and Yamaguchi are located. So one reason I love those places is because I put so much research into them. Will I ever continue this project? I can't say no 100%, but likely not. The monetary expense was just too much. But as a thank you for getting this far, these are the 3 starters of my region. Just to give you an idea of how far I got, only the grass starter has a name while the other 2 don't. Let me know what you think, and if there's a decent response to this part of the video, I'll post more and more assets as I go along with my other projects. And if you have idea names for my Fire Cow and Water Iguana Boy, let me know. Subscribe, like the video, go to Mike's channel and call him a Train Boy. You know the drill.